Version 3.8 is just around the corner, and we have just gotten the banner details for both Eula and Klee. Now, obviously, we know that there's going to be certain implications when it comes to Eula and Klee, and the reason why I say that is solely because of the fact that this is the last update until version 4.0 and onwards, which means that there's going to be a little bit of, how you say, caveats? I guess caveats to if you should summon or not. So today we're going to be talking about if you should summon for both Klee and Eula. Now, before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And of course, leave a comment. Would love to hear you guys' opinions. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and jump right in. We finally get to see them come back. We have been begging for Eula and Klee to come back, at least for some of the older players, because of the fact that, yeah, it's been a little bit. Like, this is like, I think Eula's second rerun ever and Klee's third, but we've gone through all of 3.0 without any Klee or Eula, except for maybe in events. I can't remember entirely, but I digress. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the banners. Now, let's first talk about the 4-star units before we get into the 5 stars. As most of you might know, I have my own personal opinions about Razor, right? And a lot of people, I think, have kind of jumped on that train a little bit. I don't think a lot of people actually like playing Razor. He can be good at times. Like, he can be good. But I feel as though, like, most of the time when you're looking at Razor, you have a choice to make. Do you want to make him an electro DPS or a physical DPS? And obviously, physical DPS isn't that great in my personal opinion, but at the same time, it's not that much different from his electro DPS, and that to me is a problem. Because he is a DPS, you want him on the field, and you want him to be able to do the damage that he needs to do to help your team. And to me, I feel like having him on the field over Klee or Eula is a bad choice in general, and I'm really concerned as to why they thought putting Razor on this banner would be that good of an idea, because he's not really a sub DPS. If you, like, let's say you take all 4 of these characters on a team, it would not make sense to have 2 main DPSs with Eula and Razor. That's just me, maybe I'm crazy. But let's put it into perspective. If you don't pull Eula and you just summon on Klee, or if you don't pull Eula and you don't pull Klee, right? If you decide to run a physical DPS, you can run Razor. Razor can be ran as a physical DPS. Would I suggest it? Absolutely not. I think running physical DPS characters on this game is a lot more of a detriment to you than anything because of one big thing. Elemental reactions. Elemental reactions are going to be what you need to make sure that you're doing even more damage. And while yes, physical damaging units can do a lot of big PP damage, as we've seen with my Eula showcase, there's one glaring flaw, is again, elemental reactions. So, Razor is a massive pass in my book. Now let's go ahead and talk about the next 4-star character, Thoma. Now, Thoma used to be that guy that I was like, yes, I can't wait till he comes out. When they announced him, I was like, this is like my spirit animal. Like, I view myself like a Thoma, to be quite honest. I love to cook, I love to clean. I don't know why, I'm like, literally when I'm around people, I'm always like cleaning up stuff. I don't understand why. But the big problem with Thoma is his kit. His kit is okay. And honestly, he'll work as your shielder for both Klee and Eula, and even Razor in this case, if you're wanting to run him. God bless you if you actually want to run him. But his shield isn't as good as we originally thought back in the day when he was first coming out. It's sad because Thoma had a lot of hype, but Thoma got shot by the Nerf gun way too many times and he couldn't bounce back. So Thoma is ultimately a dud for me. Plus, if you're going for a shielder, you might as, like, if you're going for a 4-star shielder, you might as well go for like Layla or Diona, because at least you'll be able to get your money's worth through them. Now let's go ahead and talk about the newest of the 4 stars, Mika. Mika works amazingly well, as I said, with Razor. Mika also works really, really well with Eula. You want to know who he doesn't work well with? Klee. Does not work well with Klee. And that's the unfortunate thing about Mika, is that Mika is a very niche character when it comes to working on your physical DPS characters and such. I mean, he could work, especially with elemental reactions, but honestly, I don't see much use for him when it comes to him pairing with Klee. You're not going to get that much of a boost in any way, shape, or form because he is a physical DPS booster and he is a cryo damage booster. You'll get elemental reactions at least, right? But his bread and butter is being on the same banner as both Razor and Eula. And even then, I'm just like, not great. Not great in the slightest. So again, for me, it's a down. Now, granted, I could use summoning for Mika, and I think I even need one more Toma on these banners. So these could be good for me, but only for collection's sake and getting them up to C6. Now let's talk about Klee. Klee has not seen the light of day since the last time she blew up fish right in front of Mondstadt Bridge. And to be honest, makes sense why. Because Klee was hit with a lot better units. That's what sucks, is like, Klee was hit with much better units in Hu Tao, in Yoimiya, and so many other DPS characters. And it's really, really sad because Klee is such a fun character. That's the thing for me. Klee is just fun. And she's getting a new outfit, which is really cool. But ultimately, I had somebody ask me today, Tystra, would you recommend these, like, would you recommend somebody summoning for Klee? And I told them no. Because we don't know what's going to happen in Fountaine when it comes to characters and their kits. We don't know what reruns are going to be coming in 4.0. And it could be some massive reruns, to be honest. Some really, really good reruns could be in line. And I'm telling you right now, if there is, Klee is going to be on the last of your list. As fun as she is, it's a down. It's a down for me. I love Klee. If I was part of the Genshin Impact universe, and I was allowed to adopt, and Alice was like, would you be my husband or boyfriend and take care of Klee? 100% I'd do it. I'm just saying. I'm not simping for Alice. Let's move on. Speaking of simping, let's talk about Eula, the cryo greatsword user that specializes in physical DPS. Now, collectors, this is a must summon. Collectors, mind you, this is a must summon. If you are somebody who wants a new DPS and you think that she's going to beat out your DPS, I'm sorry to say, but you're mistaken. Now, I will say this. Eula has a very unique style in the sense of how her abilities work, and in tandem with characters such as Mika, such as, you know, like Yunjin and other characters, you have a very specific team you can run her with, but the problem is that outside of that, you have to work with elemental reactions to really get her damage up there. And it was a point that was brought up by one of my users, or not users, one of my viewers here, that I didn't cover her being a cryo DPS. I only covered her as a physical DPS. And I want to answer that right now because there's not much of a difference. Like, you could run her as a cryo DPS user instead of a physical DPS, but at the end of the day, they both do around the same amount, to be perfectly honest. And even then, if you were gonna run her as a physical DPS, it would make sense. Like, she's a physical DPS character. Like, she could do cryo, absolutely. She does not outpace Ganyu. She does not outpace, what was it? I forgot her name. I feel bad. It's another cryo character. I feel so bad. Ayaka. She doesn't outpace them. She honestly is the third best cryo DPS character out there. And even then, that's tough to say because she's more of a physical DPS. But she has two things going for her. One, she's extremely rare. Two, she's extremely hot. I mean, look at her. She's absolutely hot. And if you haven't seen the first trailer that she got when she first released, oh my God, you are missing out. Let's go ahead and start with this banner. I think you know my decision on this. Unfortunately, as much as I love Klee, it's a dud. It is a banner you should not summon for. Why? The 4 stars that were picked alongside Klee are absolutely shit. Your best bet with Klee is Toma. And even with Toma, he's not even close to the best shielder in the game. You would be severely hurting yourself for future releases if you summon on Klee's banner. Should you summon on Eula? It's tough. The 4 stars, crap, but work better for Eula than anything else. Honestly, both Toma and Mika could be used alongside Eula. Razor could be used alongside Toma and Mika. If you want to run double DPS, I'm not going to say that it's a bad idea, but it's a bad idea. But all these characters could work with each other in some way, shape, or form. Not the best, except for Mika to Eula and Mika to Razor in some cases. But honestly, Mika to Eula is your best bet. Because of how rare Eula is, if you're a collector and you have the expense to do it, like if you have the expendable income to do it, summon for Eula. You're not going to get this chance for another year, most likely, from what it looks like. If you are free to play and you need a DPS, do not go for Eula. If you are free to play, or even a Dolphin, and you need a DPS, this is not the banner. This one is not the banner. Neither of these two are the banner for you. If you have disposable income, go for Eula. That's really all I could say about it. This is a terrible, terrible set of banners, to be honest. The 4 stars are bad. The 5 stars came at a horrible time. The only thing worth it is that Eula doesn't come by often. And that's really all I gotta say. Now, y'all, I'm just saying, if you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear y'all's opinion about it. Guys, I am so stoked for 3.8 to be over. That's my biggest thing. I really want 4.0 to come, especially with the trailer that came out today. Pretty freaking crazy as of this recording today. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Love you all to death. And as always, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Please take care and be safe.